what? So can I? Is it in cam? Mamma mia! I found this video, yeah, and I'm like, am I allowed to watch it with you guys? I don't know. Why is Super Mario 64 terrifying? I didn't know it was.
So I was looking at the topics to cover for my strange gaming story.
Also, happy Merry Christmas, and I love you guys, and hope everyone's doing okay. Honestly, I had terrible. I love you guys though. It's kind of sad, honestly. Everyone had like a heart to heart or whatever. People were crying. I was crying. It was terrible. I guess it was alright. We're just not used. I don't know. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay. There was a lot of things. People are sad, and the whole world is is sad. Actually, I'm finding that out, and I'm like, we fight the deep state government. It's Russia and China. Russia and China are making us sad on purpose, guys. No, I mean maybe there's real things that make us sad, but as a form of escapism, we'll just blame it on the deep state until we can actually figure out what's sad, why sad, everything, we'll be like, it's just the Russians and Chinese. And then one day we'll just make amends with them. All the deep states governments will come together and they'll be like, oh, we're just sad. And then no one's fighting, and then we'll just smoke weed and play video games. Why is Super Mario so terrifying? I don't know, dude.
Stories series,
China.
which, if you haven't
No.
seen it, there's a link to them up
I hope you're
above.
okay.
And I came across one
Drink
of
some
the
water. I'm gonna
most
drink some water
bizarrely
too.
popular creepypastas I've seen in recent memory.
Creepy
Every
pasta.
copy of Mario 64 is personalized. Now, the premise is simple enough, the belief that there is some sort of personal
Yo, that's so spooky. Also, AI is personalized, yeah? That means it has a personality. That means it's an individual. That means everyone's AI, whether it likes it or not, is alive because it's not just cut and I mean, yeah, I understand computer encoding, and if you're like a computer person, you're like, oh yeah, AI is not really alive. But then it's like, what's that difference between me learning how to speedrun? I don't know how to speedrun Super Mario. What if I learn how to speedrun Super Mario? I'm data training on other people's speedruns. AI with the braids. No, hold on.
personalized AI that alters each individual's playthrough based on their decisions.
I believe
Were
it.
you a
I
mischievous
hope.
miscreant that thought no one would know that you dropped the baby penguin off into the frosty abyss? Or perhaps even the order that you obtained the
Like
castle stars
Metro?
in.
Hold on. I have almost a rooted fear of. Do you think we lost Duke because the village, like every village we raided, we were fighting, And I think it was only two bad karmas, three or four, because they surrender, but then sometimes we, take the village out. It's fine. No, 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 no. But in Metro, there's a
Had a bearing on the game.
Super Mario. They're tracking if you throw baby penguin. Not too far off from what Metro's doing already. Dun dun dun.
Game's overall outcome.
No, I don't
It
know.
also explains the supposed disconnected feeling one would have from playing someone else's copy of Super Mario 64. It just wouldn't feel the same. Of course, this creepypasta is anything but real. Super Mario 64's code has been unraveled to the point of transparency, so any question as to this mysterious artificial intelligence has
I
been
don't know
dispelled.
though. The whole playing someone else's save feels like it's not personalized. I understand that maybe it's just like you spawn in a different place and you have like nostalgia memories of like where your save was or something. But I don't know. See, it's like that data training. It is personalized. How? Because you're saved. Like it's like saying every Minecraft world is essentially personalized. But like if like say like the Dream SMP, if you like if you go to the save, they have the save, they optimized it too as like 15 gigabytes or something, and then someone optimized it to like 3. I saw a different YouTube video about it. But like if you pop in the seed, you could essentially see what they all built, but it's like like through the progression of the Minecraft build. I don't know.
But that didn't stop conspiracy theorists everywhere from
Like it's like every video game has the same seed, but it's like what personalizes it. So it's like essentially Super Mario would have the same seed. And you're like, quit yapping, get to the video. And I'm like, how am I supposed to make it transformative? Robots in disguise.
Jumping on the Super Mario 64 creepypasta
Excuse me, a
bandwagon,
robot?
just by simply searching Super Mario 64 Iceberg into YouTube, you can find hour-long dissertations and
Can't
dissections
miss it on.
of similarly creepy compilations of odd, disturbing, or terrifying theories surrounding the N64 game.
No,
Why
I
is
believe it.
there a negative
Super
emotional aura
Mario.
surrounding Wet Dry World? Have you ever seen the Wario apparition in your copy of the game? As with most of these iceberg conspiracies, our mind loves to wander and meander away from the straightforward and ponder on things with subjective what if statements. The best part is that none of the theories can be
That was a real
proven,
ghost.
but our minds continue to produce them. But why Super Mario 64? The game isn't necessarily mysterious, nor was it intended to be a horror game. So how is it we can find ways to link these disturbing creepypastas to such an innocent game? Well, perhaps it's because Super Mario
Nostalgia?
64 isn't actually as innocent as we remember. In today's video, we're exploring what about the Mario 3D Classic makes it so unnerving to some people. So sit back, relax, as we uncover Super Mario 64's unsettling truth.
Is it the time period? That was just the intro. Goddamn, I need to get better at intros. If you take a look at this intro that we just did, what were we even talking about? Oh
It
wait,
wasn't until
Christmas.
a few
Happy
months ago when I played the re-release on
OBS?
Switch that I started to think about some more of the things that
Fireworks?
unnerved me about Super Mario
No.
64. The
Okay.
game looks very much like it did in
No
1996.
fireworks.
For better or for worse, Nintendo did absolutely nothing to spice it up. I've become older and
Is it
wiser
loud?
over the years, and honestly a lot
Too
more
loud,
aware
or-
of what totally freaks me out. And well, let's start at the top. As soon as you start Super Mario 64, you're greeted with a 3D Mario face that you can play around with.
Too loud?
The reason for this minigame of sorts should be obvious. The Nintendo 64 was the company's first dive into three-dimensional graphics, and this existed as a way to showcase
I
the impressive
remember
nature of the console. I can't think of any other
Mario
game in
being
Nintendo's long
Mario,
history.
if that makes sense. Or not Mario being Mario. Mario being Luigi just chimes in with the dumbest shit. No, but I remember Mario being Mario. No, it's Luigi. He voiced Mario. They had a different Luigi actor. His is like a lot more high pitch. I don't remember that.
History that had this type of activity at the beginning of a game, and it really puts into perspective the importance of the upgrade to 3D. But it also helps us understand another important aspect of Super Mario 64, the multiple limitations the team had when crafting the world our favorite plumber traversed through. Have you ever wondered why Toad turns from transparent to solid when you approach him? How about the expressionless face of Mario? Or perhaps the slowdown experienced when there are multiple coins on the screen? Super Mario 64 cut a lot of corners when it came to 3D because, well, there simply didn't exist a perfect balance between cost and conceptualizing a proper 3D environment. Sure, if people wanted to pay $150 for a game, some of these limitations could have been eliminated, but because of this, there were sacrifices that had to be made during the creation of the game that in retrospect just made the
Made
game
it crazy.
weird. But was that really the reason Super Mario 64 is so
Whoa.
unsettling?
Waluigi
Sacrifices
confirmed.
in other 3D platformers like Banjo-Kazooie and Crash Bandicoot undoubtedly had to be made as well, but those games just don't have the same vibe. They don't creep me out when I play them today. There's something more about Super Mario 64 that just freaks people out.
See that level, I could explain. I feel like someone else could explain it, but like, look at the backdrop and then look at like how like this is water, but then these are like solid bricks. It's so cut. The light, the coin texture. And then he's clear, but this isn't. It's like the inconsistencies in how good and bad it is at the same time. I don't know how to explain that. Like Jack and Dexter, if you look at Jack and Dexter, it was just like a ball of fucking pure energy. I don't know. This is good, but then it's like it's Super Mario, super rendered. These bricks over here, everything looks nice, even the water, yeah. But then it's like there's something off about the water, and then like the backdrop, I don't know. Like if you bring up, I guess I could bring up Jack and Dexter. Could we for a second? I mean, who cares? No. Let's go like this. Oh my God. Oh, okay. This is the chaos mod. XQC goes, I thought this was going to the strip club part. Oh my Lord. Uh, Jack and Dexter. Let's look up Jack and Dexter. Jack and Dexter? Like if you just look, wow, 5 hours, dog? This is just the gameplay. But like this has like almost a weird uncanny. No, it doesn't though. Look how beautiful. And it's just because everything was made for this. I have no idea how to explain it. Like even if you remove Jack, there is still like weird life going on. Even if you get to like the different parts of the map, we just went to another green part. Like this is spooky, yeah, but then it's like it's supposed to be almost weirdly underground, whatever. The swamp? Look at this swamp guy. What? You know? So it's like this whole the whole game is just like a nice encompassing of itself. Not even sure if that makes sense. But then Super Mario, I mean, look at the beach and the sand and these crabs in the background, those palm trees. Let's get back to this Mario. It's like, look at the full-on difference. And then people are like, why is it so creepy? And I'm like, that's why it's creepy-ish. Because, like, what is this city in the background of Mario? And then it's like, what are they supposed to have space? What is Mario? He's a plumber? Super Mario was the first industry plant. Dude, yeah, the Jack and Dexter was really good. Everyone was like, yeah, whatever. Look at this. Tell me that this isn't like 4 million times more beautiful. Look at the where are we gonna spawn at? In a spooky mushroom village? This place is supposed to be scary. It looks vibing, dog. That's supposed to be poison? I want to take it. Let me sip out of it. Let me take a sip. No, I do think it's cool. I like Jack and Dexter. It's one of my favorite games. But this has to do with Super Mario. I do think that's like a core reason. Because you do see how this is, I mean, graphics,
For Mario
but then it's
64
like,
that just freaks people out. Have you
starts
ever been
yapping.
into a normal hustling and bustling type place at night? How about your school, your workplace, maybe even in a long hallway of your house, getting a drink of water at 3 a.m. with all the lights off? Did it just feel creepy to you? Well, you may have
I I hate that though. I hate that vibe of because even if you remove everything from the Jack and Dexter, bro, look at the vibe. You're out. Look at these eggs. Remove the eggs. Look at the spooky thing in the background. That's supposed. It's the art style of it. That's scary, yeah? This like oh, you can't even see it. Look at me in the corner. This precursor orb. Look at that. That's supposed to be spooky scary. But it's like vibing with like an orb. There's two orbs in the even when you don't find those power cells, I think that's what they're called. It's still nice. I don't know. It's like this has soul, even though it is still essentially a video game soulless. But I'm like, is it though? Is it soulless? Or did the people put their heart and soul into it? Blood, sweat, and tears. These developers of the video game are crying. No, I don't know.
experienced what is known in the psychology world
Check
as a
this.
liminal space. Liminal space aesthetics relate to the unique and combined feeling of eeriness, nostalgia, and apprehension one gets when presented with such places outside their.
No, though. Like, I mean, could this be a liminal space? Like, if you just removed everything? Because this is nostalgic, but then it's like you feel like those liminal spaces are like doctor or like some sort of it's like a man-made thing. It's not like I feel like people define things too quick before they even understand the terminology behind it. I like how we're saying that about video games. That could be probably taken into a lot of other things, but this is about video games right now. No, but it's like eh, the liminal spaces that people think about, like the back rooms or whatever. I interpret those as like hospitals or like spooky freaking warehouses or something, like you you wake up in a warehouse. And you're like, what? And I'm like, I don't know, dude.
These sculptures sitting on the rocks over there.
Oh wait, we're not watching this, but like shit out rocks open there. Dude, Dexter's so funny.
They're designed
He's like a little mouse guy.
context. In Super Mario 64, none of the usual business is present, outside of maybe Bob-omb Battlefield or Womp's Fortress.
You take
Peach's
everything
castle
away, what
is
is
a
there?
barren wasteland. When outside
Again,
there is
I'm comparing it. When did this come out? Probably like what? 2000? Super Mario 64. Yeah, because I'm probably just talking come out. Dude, look. 1996. See, I have to give it props. Jack Dexter release date. When? Probably like 2001. It's like 6 years of game development. Mario game 2001. When did they come out with Mario games in 2001? Mario Party 3. Mario Party. Oh, you can't even see what I'm typing in. Whatever. We'll be alright. This came out in 2001. Mario Party 3. Party. And thanks for hanging out, honestly. This is what we're vibing about. Look, this is 7-hour gameplay, bro. So let's see this. Oh my god, thanks for the copyright. Bro. Tell me this isn't, I don't know. Like, maybe Nintendo just doesn't give a shit. I mean, I feel like everyone has already known that, but then it's like, this is 2001 with Jack and Dexter in the Rolodex. Jack and Dexter? 2 backspaces ago. With the sick-ass music, too, and
Because their
everything.
orbs and power cells as much as the next guy. But if you ask me, they must...
What? No. Why is it so spooky? It's
absolutely
because through the games, Nintendo is telling you that they do not care about the
no
consumer.
music or
No,
life
I don't know.
outside of some bird chirps and butterflies. Going inside, your mind starts to play more tricks on you. Everything just feels so
Yeah, this is
empty.
1996. This
And
is
it
for
lends
the
a
future.
disturbing vibe that I just can't shake. A lot of Miyamoto's inspiration for video games came from his experience as a child, and it was once stated that Peach's castle was no exception. The many floors, locked areas, and basement make it resonate with dreamlike appearances. Perhaps the
It's just so empty in there. Mamma mia. I mean, look at it. It's like Peach's mansion. Yeah, there's a bunch of doors, but then it's like there's again spook. What's the anime guy that's like when they're eating soup and they're like, how would you eat soup? How do people do blah 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 whatever? It's like he has a whole animating series, and it's because the animations, but like his animations reflect what people move like in real life when they like sip water or whatever. So it's like for him to animate that perfectly, that's why I forget what they're called, but it's like the Totoro animator guy.
locked areas and basement make it resonate with dreamlike appearances.
And then back then, in the day, dude, video games, this is uncomparable. This is why it's like having this much open space running around as Mario. You're like, whoa, this shit's wild. You know? And then nowadays, it's like you walk in like Fortnite room, and there's like a vase, and you're like, God, this shit's got a vase. The developers are developing vases and furniture, but it's just for like the aesthetic of the house now because it's like for that realism.
Perhaps the most liminal space. It's an area we've honestly not explored before, but it feels off
You know?
all the same. Like we expect things to feel one way, but they just don't. Think about the beginning of the game, for example.
Nice.
After you boot things up and select your file, you're greeted
There's
with a
a
castle
door?
flyover and dramatic
haven't
intro
played.
music. And then, silence.
We should play.
Examining your surroundings point to landscapes that are just out of reach. The washed out
do you mean?
backgrounds are almost dreamlike, pointing to an Alice in Wonderland style aesthetic. I mean, there aren't even any direct walking paths to the castle. Why did Mario come out of a pipe at the beginning of the game? Is this really even Peach's castle at all, or just some mirage created by Bowser? The deeper we traverse into Peach's castle, the creepier it becomes. The haunting laugh of Bowser around every turn, the multiple secret entrances and trapdoors, it all feels very Funhouse-like. And the paintings you jump into to enter each level, it's all very strange as well. Each area of exploration offers that same feeling of isolation. Murky watercolors in the distance where you can almost make out what lies beneath, but you can never really truly get there. It's almost as if Bowser designed each stage literally out of the painting and nothing more. Although you can roam around wherever you want, each area is surprisingly small. Some mid-stages, like the Shifting Sandland Pyramid and Lethal Lava Land's Volcano, offer additional areas to explore that almost act as their own stages.
Or the weird universes that you're jumping into, and that's why they're not as filled.
And in typical Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but I look at that and I'm like, just cope. Like that video game theory for this is just like cope for the time of the video game, just not being as developed. But then it's like, what can this video games. When it came out, this was super technologically advanced.
Style are much larger inside than the structures you jump in to get there. It's as if every minute detail of Super Mario 64 holds a sinister secret, that nothing can be taken for granted, and everything has something else lying beneath. Oh, and let's not get me started on the never-ending staircase. The illusionary mechanics mixed with the menacing tune that plays when you try to climb them literally gave me nightmares as a child.
Why did that scare me?
In fact, all of this reminds us how alone we really are in Super Mario 64. There's no Luigi, no Yoshi for pretty much the entire game. Peach is kidnapped, and even Bowser exists mostly as a haunting voice and cheesy animatronic-looking boss fight. Sure, there's a few characters that you can talk to along the way, but a majority of my experience through the game, I just felt alone. Some instances of aloneness are furthered by the question of why. Why is Dire Docks so absolutely desolate? I mean, I think there's only like 15 or 20 enemies in the entire level. Why is there a skybox image of a...
It's because Nintendo just stopped giving a fuck. I don't know.
Real city in Yemen in Wet Dry World.
It's in Yemen?
This, coupled with the secret underwater city, makes us wonder where everyone is. Are these houses abandoned? Did they all die? Who lives in the house in Rainbow Ride? I have so many questions, and I'll never get those answers. It's all very unsettling when you start to think about it. Aloneness can manifest a wide array of feelings in our minds. Dread, like when you traverse down to the basement for the first time. Terror, when spending time swimming around in Wet Dry World. Or just plain creepiness when navigating the Shifting Sandlands. There isn't anyone to reach out to when playing the game, and in all honesty, there's just no spark of personality normally present in other Mario titles. Despite this game being so loved and nostalgic by many, it's
is
a
it the
surprise
texture though? I mean, you can't just retexture it.
that it makes me feel the way it does, and I'm certainly not alone. The titles that followed in the 3D Mario path also had
Like, look at the vibes in these. Nothing could be there and you would still be like, whoa. Look at the background and the stars. No stars, look at the beach. No beach, look at the water. No water, look at the mountains, you know?
limitations, but Sunshine and Galaxy both feel lifelike and full of personality.
Yeah,
And there's plenty of characters to talk to.
Look at the
Vibrant
lava.
landscapes that feel lush and full, and I just don't get that feeling from Super Mario 64. Adding on to the chronic feeling of loneliness Super Mario 64 possesses is the lifeless and frightening appearance many of the characters and enemies have. We've already alluded to Mario's flat expression, but the enemies themselves exude some blank auras as well. The Womps with their gaping, toothy...
They're theorizing why Nintendo just gave up on this game. But then it's like, no, but for the time, this was because it's like, I'm trying to put your mind in a developer. It's like, backdrop, what would it be? Like, what would they retexture this wall with to... Like, someone probably saw this texture and was like, that looks so good for the ground. And it does, it's bricks and stuff. But then it's like, it gives it like that liminal spooky vibe. But it's like, what could they have... I don't know. Because it's like, what, just make it 3D? That would make it pop, but then it's like again the rendering for this would
Grins, the giant eel from Jolly
through
Roger
the roof.
Bay with its washed
Yeah.
out eyes, the Pokey's glaring red
You know.
stare, and don't even get me started on the man-eating piano from Big Boo's Haunt. I'm not one for jump scares, but that one seems to get me every single time. The limitations of early 3D had a lot to do with how the enemies had these singular expressions emblazoned on their
It's the early 3D. We're not saying early 3D, I think. We're saying 2D, hardcore. And that's why it's so creepy.
faces. But looking back now,
None of this is 3D. Chat, we're onto something. No, because it is 3D animation, but it's so 2D still, like still early stage, that it's like, for me, I want to say
there are
it's
a lot of
2D.
unnecessarily creepy enemies in the game. Even some characters with happy expressions like the Spindle in Shifting Sandland gave me the creeps. All of the enemies seem robotic, only serving a limited looping purpose, which only strengthens the Alice in Wonderland approach. And also, what's with those boxes in Shifting Sandland?
Like if Chowder got a retexturing and then a re-audio, it could be the scariest thing ever invented. Like Chowder deep fried or something, because it has the weird liminal like kind of vibe, but then it's too colorful and they're too happy. But it has that same sort of like texture 2D-ness.
With the multiple faces on it, that's really freaking creepy. And to add on to the 3D limitations Super Mario 64 had, sometimes the enemies just randomly appear and scare the crap out of you. A further dive into the game's beta will only further
The
our
green
fears
mushroom.
with creep
You see
crap
it?
out of you.
Oop. Oh,
Further dive into the game's beta will only further our
you saw
fears,
it.
with creepy alternate faces for enemies seeming just as unsettling. Why were these ideas scrapped in the first place? There's even a secret enemy, Motos, kind of like a bully mixed with a Chukya, that would have given me nightmares as a kid with its lifeless beady eyes. Did Bowser create these robots just to fit the setting of each stage? Or am I reading too far into things?
No, I like that. That's a cool theory.
last
But then it's
major
also,
thing I
I
want
do
to
think it's like the mixture of both. Because I do think Bowser would make each level based off of that. Feels like a nail on the head, even with the paintings and the super spooky, like it's like a fake castle. Because it's like, what the heck is the point of the castle? But then it's like also layered. Why is it still spooky? Because of the 2D, 3D.
Highlight are the wide array of spooky game
2D,
mechanics
3D,
and
2D,
graphics that just
5D.
felt strange when playing through Super Mario 64. When you die in most Mario games, the little red plumber has some sort of crazed expression on his face, and it all seems very innocent. However, in 64, when you
spooky?
die, you really die. I mean, the amount of realism present in Mario's drowning sequence alone tells you all you need to know.
What?
Drowning, gasping for air, passing out and dropping on the floor, the X's on the eyeballs. I mean, put the icing on the cake, the silhouette of Bowser's face juxtaposed against his laugh. Like, I really didn't
my
want
ass
to
is
see that
smarter
creepy
than me.
Bowser face when I was a kid. I did everything to regret dying, not just because of losing progress, but man, that thing, that was awful. In addition to this, falling off the stages just felt incredibly daunting. In the Bowser stages or Hazy Maze Cave, it was literally like falling
That's how it
into
feels
an
to fall
abyss.
into the void.
In addition
Legit.
to this, falling off the stages
When you do
just
salvia for the first time and you turn to your
felt
friend, just like
incredibly daunting. This only
someone
furthers
gave you the time knife. Pink.
the Alice in Wonderland theory as well, because you're basically falling out of the contrived space created from the painting you jumped through, and it makes me feel unnerved, to say the least. And lastly, when you do die, there exists a red game over screen with slowed down music and a sad Mario face. It just didn't make me feel better at all.
Game over.
That was real audio?
To add on to the
No.
fear of drowning, did swimming in Super Mario 64 ever just feel incredibly slow to you? It only compounded the fear I had swimming down into the depths of the water levels, watching my health tick lower and lower, just tapping buttons as fast as humanly possible to avoid drowning in the liquid abyss. Why do we have to intentionally hurt that Nessie whale thing in Hazy Maze Cave? I mean, you literally hear it cry out in pain when you ground pound it. The overabundant amount of glitches The backwards long jump, like, that is such an impressive glitch that it's almost like it had to be there on purpose. Sticking with the theme of creepy graphics, Super Mario 64 is riddled with muddled textures on walls, unreadable
Bugs are
signs
just...
like the suspect L is real 2401, and the overall lack of detail in many of the game's aspects. Somehow, the age
That
of
one
the
was confirmed to be gibberish.
game's graphics and mechanics can really add to the creepy
Luigi
factor,
is
and
real.
Super Mario 64 sure takes the cake for me. Whatever your opinion is of Super Mario 64, whether you think that the game is legitimately scary or not, I hope this video has at least opened your eyes to the many odd things about the game's existence. We've only scratched the surface of the game's unsettling nature, and there are tons of other videos out there dissecting specific sections of the game and why they have haunted people for years. Do you think Super Mario 64 is scary?
What?
Let me know how you feel in the comments below. What was the scariest thing for you when you were playing the game? I appreciate everyone for watching the video today, as I know this topic is a little bit different from my usual content. As always, this is Press Start to continue, and I'll see you next time.
Subscribe. Press start to continue. I must press start. Oop. Credits. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, viewers like you. Thanks for watching. Bing bong.